Welcome in, Bills Mafia. Welcome back to another edition of the Go Bills podcast. I am your host and founder of the show, Brett. Glad to be with you on this Sunday evening for our new series that we're kicking off. This is the third episode of this series, and I am joined by a special guest that needs no introduction of his own. He is someone who is from New Jersey, but he represents Buffalo. He is someone who has been on on our show, Go Bills podcast. He's been doing shows with us with the Metaverse, but this is one of the first times we're going to see him actually. He doesn't like to show his face quite often, but he loves to show it on the Metaverse. We are representing Buffalo. We're going to do two shows with him for the Sunday sit down. The first one's going to be with him personally, so you get to know him, and then we're going to also have the Metaverse come in. This is Mafia Sta. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing good, man. Thanks for having me, yeah.
Dude, anytime. You're more than welcome to come on the show anytime. I appreciate you coming on. If you haven't already, if this is your first time coming on the show, don't forget to like and subscribe to us. And don't forget to also follow Mafia Sta on social media. We'll have all the tags and everything in our description so that you can go over and follow him as well. But, man, I wanted to get this done. I know we've been itching to do it. We haven't had a chance to do it. And today is the good day that we can finally get it done.
Right.
We're going to start off with a few categories. We did this series with Don Brown, who is a famous Buffalo rapper. We also did another show with my dad. Third installment. These are going to be totally different questions than what they're going to have. It's going to be some similarities, some differences, but we're going to play a few categories. But the first thing I want to do is I want to get to know you better. So the first question I'm going to ask you, buddy, is how did you become a Bills fan?
Oh, well, father's side of the family was really, adamant football, great football fans. They always was under the impression that, you had two teams to choose from when you're from Jersey, since we didn't have our own team. And when they asked me, I immediately asked or kind of got mad at in my little, 7-year-old mind. I got mad at the fact that New Jersey didn't have a team. So I'm like, well, why do I have to pick a team from New York? And why do they have to play in our state? And so they let me know that, New York is like, oh, they got two teams. Actually, they got three teams. And I said, okay, wait, who's the third team? And they said, well, it's Buffalo, but they play in Buffalo. You don't have to worry about that. And I said, okay, so if I have to pick a New York team, I'm going to pick the only true New York team that plays in New York, Buffalo Bills. So now I'm Mafia Sta. That's the shortest way I can say that story.
Dude, that's a great story, though, because a lot of people would assume that you would be a Giants fan or a Jets fan, but you actually are a true New York fan.
Right.
Now, when you became a Bills fan, what did it take for you to finally decide that you're truly a Bills fan? I know that there's got to be a game or something like that you watched and you're like, you went from I'm kind of a fan, but now I'm actually a fan, and now I'm rooting for the team. What game was that? That
was the Super Bowl against the New York Giants. That was the unfortunate wide left kick ending Super Bowl. And I remember already being a Bills fan, but it was more about the way I felt towards the end of that game. I felt so much that my team was robbed. I wanted it. I could have easily jumped to the Giants with everyone, celebrating them and bandwagon players jumping them because they won the Super Bowl. But that was the kind of the game. That was when I made the decision. Like, okay, no. I'm going to be there. And I got to see them go to the Super Bowl 3 more times after that. So, it was like, so I literally was birthed right around those, I guess 30 for 30, call it the 4 falls. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's when I definitely was there. I was like, it was no question after that.
So I got to ask you, buddy, being that you went from the 4 falls of Buffalo in those Super Bowls. Right. I know that there's a lot of fans that went through the emotions of that, and some people still Bills fans. A lot of us are still Bills fans after that. Right. Was there any other consideration of maybe we just are cursed and that you should follow another team during that time frame, or did you feel like you needed to move on to like the Cowboys who were having success or anybody like that? Were you trying to bandwagon a little?
No, I never was a bandwagoner because first and foremost, I'm loyal to a fault. That's how I was raised. And secondly, I don't look for an easy win. I didn't want. I looked as a bandwagon fan, as somebody that was, following an easier path, for the path, And no, I did not. Evidently enough, I remember looking at a documentary that was talking about the Buffalo Bills and the whole, Super Bowl game, and they had an interview with, the kicker, and he was heartbroken. Of course, he even said that he did not even want to go in Buffalo because he thought they were going to string him up, and he finished it by saying that not only did they not string him up, they cheered him on as he was talking to the city of Buffalo. And he was a grown man up there tearing up about how much love that city gave him, even though he, totally, in his mind, he botched it. He lost the game for him,
In his mind, he lost it for the city of Buffalo.
Right. The fact that that was another turning point, and another confirmation that affirmation that I made the right choice. I was thinking any city that, can do that. Yeah, it's a special fan base. It's a special kind of place. I had, my mom was a Cowboys fan. I had, watched a DC fan back when they were called, the name, the Redskins, before they changed up to the Commanders. And every time, even some Eagles fans or my friends, every time that they lost, it's like they looked at the NFL players as their employees that just kind of messed up. And I was like, okay, well, I'd rather the family setting than the employee setting.
Right.
So that was my thought process.
It's actually great that you said that, because being a fan of the Bills myself, it feels like we have such a great knowledge of the game. We understand that, there's mistakes that happen. But if you come to Buffalo and you put in your hard work and you do everything that you can, we're going to support you 100%. But if you don't, you're going to get kicked out of Buffalo pretty fast. Yeah. And that's one thing I love about this town is we're all Bills fans. We all are passionate Bills fans. We'll always root for the Bills. But we'll tell you if you're doing your job right or wrong. Right. And if you're doing your job right, we'll embrace you. You make mistakes. It happens on the field. We've seen it happen on the field. But if you don't do your job right, we're going to tell you need to go.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think there's any other city that does that. I mean, I know that there's the Raiders, and they say they do that and everything. But we're one of the only fan bases in the NFL that actually cares about our players. And that's one thing I love about being a Bills fan. So I want to move on to another topic that I want to talk to you about, and that's the free agency that's coming up. And I know that you know some amount of the free agents that are coming out. Is there any particular target that you're looking for the Bills to go after?
I'll be honest with you. I don't have a specific, like a player name to give you.
Or a position that you have?
Now, the position, yes. Offensive line, yes. I'd also think a good, solid wide receiver number two, a number two guy to Diggs. I know we need that. But other than that, it's the positions that I think that would get us to the next step. We're ever evolving team. We've shown that we will be resilient. We've shown that we will make adjustments. And so I think that the core is great. We're nowhere near the point where we have to totally, get back to the drawing board and start all over from scratch, because we have a good basis. It's just the fact that we do need, talent in other areas that will take it from our star players. Diggs can't be the only receiver, Allen can't be the one that is the one dependent on all the time. Right. So that's what I look for in the free agency. And, I'm quite sure the Bills staff and, they're definitely thinking in that area. So,
I completely agree.
Surprised to see, I'm really anxious to see what developments you make.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think you're exactly right on that, because I feel like we spent the money on Josh Allen. Now you know what he is. You know what he represents. So now it's time to build around Josh Allen. It's time to solidify the offensive line, give him the amount of time that he needs to be able to look down the field, not worry about is somebody going to come off of the right tackle. is somebody going to come up the middle and go after him? And then he has to scroll out to his right, and then he has to throw on the run. And that's where the interceptions were coming in my opinion, is he just wasn't having enough time to survey the field. And he had to rely on Diggs because that's the one guy that he could utilize that had usually in one-on-one coverage was getting open, and nobody was getting open enough. But I think there's some really good prospects that are out there, not only in free agency, but in the draft that we could go after that can help Josh, and not only with the offensive line, but also the wide receivers, so that we can have some more yards after catch. And that's one thing we were talking about earlier this week on our show with Nickel City Mafia and Red, White, and Bills, is that Josh Allen was last in the NFL this past year in yards after catch, which is something that alarms me because I think that Josh can work on that. And there's some really good players out here in the draft. One guy that I threw out on my Instagram page was Nathaniel Dell coming out of the draft. Now, I know you don't know much about him, but this is a guy that he's a speedster guy, and he had multi-touchdown games. And I think that's something that Buffalo can look for next year, is to get somebody with a little bit more speed and get a little faster. And I think he would fit exactly what Buffalo is looking for.
Okay. I agree with you on the yards after catching, that the fact that they definitely should work on that so that we can get more production in that area. And yeah, you're right. The speedster is where it's at. The only, thing that people have to keep in mind is that when you have, someone coming out, the talent is the one thing, and then them getting to the groove of NFL game and to that pace, that's their next hurdle. But yeah, like you said, we have so much talent in there. Josh Allen has showed that he has great relationships with his players. He has respect from his team. And so I think that would help them, kind of get into the groove of what the Buffalo Bills are doing even faster, So yeah, I'm with you on that.
No, that's good. Is there anybody this offseason that you'd like to see Buffalo extend? Now, I'm not talking about a free agent that's out there. I'm talking about anybody that's currently on the roster.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't dug into and got a lot of research lately. So I don't have a specific name to throw out.
Okay.
But lately, like, what's been on my mind is, first, how is the core of our team going to change, if at all? So example, like Leslie Frazier, he made his statement. I like to think of the free agency after I know how the core of the team is going to either remain the same or change, because that may change my answer of who I think that we should go after, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, but I wasn't sure if there's a guy on the roster that you're like, man, we got to pay him now. We paid Josh, we paid Diggs.
Well, I mean, I'll be amiss to not mention that, Jordan Poyer. I don't want to see Poyer go anywhere. I really like Jordan Poyer. Just the effort that he showed. I mean, last season he literally drove himself to the away game with his wife and his daughter.
Right.
Jim, that kind of dedication and devotion. I love that. I also think the Mafia kind of got a little gypped by not seeing the Hyde-Poyer combination with Micah Hyde getting injured so early. So Poyer is definitely one. Tremaine Edmonds, I like Tremaine Edmonds. I do. I know a lot of Mafia fans are like, oh, we don't really need him. But I like him. I like his presence. I like the fact that, what I've seen from him. And, even Jordan Phillips, man, I like Jordan Phillips too. I don't know if we gave him enough time for them to show us the full potential. I know we only saw those spurts of some, and but the longer we keep them, I think that we have more to see from them. I don't want us to get too anxious because we're in such a need to see, and we're getting anxiety because we're so close. We can feel our team being so close to being as talented, and so I like to see them do that, to give them a little more time to some of the players. So those are the names that come to mind when I think of that.
If you had to pick one of those guys, now Jordan Phillips, Jordan Poyer, Tremaine Edmonds, Shaq Lawson, one of those guys that you can sign. You're Brandon Beane, you got your roster hat on. You can only sign one of these guys. Who are you picking, and why?
All pro Poe. I'm going Poyer. The only reason I say that is because of some of the reasons I mentioned earlier about him, and secondly, because I know the safety position is so important and integral to our defense. We didn't do a lot of. We heard a lot of the Bills only they're going to run this consistent defense. They're going to do that and they did, and the safety position kind of saves our butt in so many situations, for lack of a better phrase. We need them to be strong. We've seen what happened when we have people, players in the safety position that that do a good job, but it wasn't that, the same play, the explosive play that I think was so important for our run and all the successes that we've had. So I'll say Poyer. I'll stick to that.
I think that's a great choice. I think you're right on the ball with that. I love the fact that how tough he is. That's the biggest thing that I like about him. I think he brings a really good edge to the defensive back room, and I think he fits exactly what Buffalo needs to keep. So I want to move on.
And looking at his influence on the other teammates.
Yeah,
we've had, right. He's that guy. You can have one person talented, and that's great, but to the stretch goal is to have that talented player be someone that can influence other players or maybe
exactly. And I think the guy that you have over your shoulder, I think he influenced DeMar quite a bit this season.
Oh yeah. Hamlin definitely did that. I totally agree with that. I totally agree. That was, one of the things that makes me proud to be a Bills fan is, it's such resilience. It's them coming together no matter what adversity they go against. It was mind-boggling. Like every time we heard something about a new challenge or a new hurdle for our team, it was like it was a step above the last one, and they came back and they did that. And I know I'm not the only Mafia member. I know our fan base is proud of them. I know the city of Buffalo is very proud. So I truly respect that. I tell people all the time, we have the best fan base in the business. Like, nobody's seen Mafia as far as fans in the NFL, and maybe even beyond the league, NFL. Maybe we can put some other sports in there.
Oh, definitely. So I got two more questions on the first category that I want to ask you. Number one, have you ever been to a Bills game?
No, I haven't. I have not been to a home game. I have been to a Bills game in Nashville when we took out the Titans. Not last season, but it was season prior. And so I haven't been to a home Buffalo game, which is bucket list. I got to do it. Actually, this season here may be that time. But I have seen them in play, and I have seen that, which was beautiful because I was living in Nashville around too many Titan fans. So that was a good thing to see us come in there and take over Broadway in downtown Nashville with the Mafia. Right. It was beautiful. Yeah,
it's always beautiful when we can take over a new city.
Oh yeah,
I've seen it happen. Like the NFL draft in Nashville. We took over Nashville. I could not believe we took over Nashville.
Right.
But I mean, I apologize about that. I got a car going by my house, so. We're doing this in a new setting. We're not doing it in our normal little sanctuary where we're inside. I'm doing it outside because the weather's nice here. I know the weather's bad in Buffalo, and I wish all the best to everybody that's up there dealing with the snow, and hopefully everybody's safe and happy up there. And you're able to watch TV or watch the YouTube channels and watch us do our thing. So I hope that's what you're able to do. But really good case that you brought up there about going to Nashville. I think that being in an away game, it's one thing I have to check off my bucket list. I've been to New Era. It was New Era Field at the time when I went. Yeah. I was able to watch a Miami Dolphins game. That was a great game to watch. But I got to go to an away game. I was going to go to the one where it was the Bills going to the playoffs for the first time in 17 years. That was going to be the game that I went to. And my dad goes, dude, if you go to that game and they lose, you're going to be so upset. And I'm like, but if we win, we get to the playoffs, it would be great. And I remember watching that out on TV and watching everybody outside and the chants and, the hey, let's go Buffalo, and hearing all that. And I'm like, man, I could have been there. I could have done that. Right. It would have been great.
Right.
I missed that. But, this season we got to make a point to go up to Buffalo, see a game together. It would be great to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Totally. I mean, even the fact that Buffalo in this season coming up, we're going to be going overseas. I would definitely strongly considering going to that game because that
Oh,
will
man.
be amazing.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
passport ready. Let's go.
Can you imagine the flight over there? How many Bills fans are going to go?
Oh, dude, it's probably going to be the best flight. Like, like Mafia Airlines. Like, yeah, we're already going to do it.
I've learned that the Saturday flight before an away game. So if you're flying from Buffalo to wherever the Bills are playing, it's usually a
Yeah.
Saturday flight midday that they go.
Right.
And it is an incredible experience. The whole entire flight is great. The flight attendants are jumping, they're playing the shout song, they're playing, Don Brown's music and everything, and it's going off on the flight. It's just so much fun. So I got to do that one time. I got to check that off my bucket list. It's something I really want to do.
Oh, yeah.
So I agree.
Let me know. I'll roll with you, man. That'd be awesome.
Let's do it, man. We got to make it happen.
That'd be cool as well.
So my last question is, I know you've been to Buffalo.
Yes.
You haven't been inside the stadium, though.
No.
But you've been around the stadium, correct?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So I want to know for you, do you agree with Buffalo moving the stadium across the street and building it there, or do you think that the stadium should be built in downtown Buffalo?
Well, I got mixed emotions with that. For one, for the sake of the city, I think it is actually smart to not do it in downtown Buffalo, but that's only for traffic reasons, things of that nature. But a part of me would like, to kind of fantasize about the stadium being in the heart of Buffalo because the team is the heart of the city. So I totally get that. That's not lost on me. But I have lived in a couple of cities where the football stadium is downtown, and it does kind of create some commotion in traffic. But I don't know. But Buffalo might be the city where, they embrace their team so much that I know the people in the city of Buffalo will make it work. I know that. But I'm with them on their decision to move it across the street. You know what I mean? The Bills are such intertwined with life in Buffalo that I know that people are already, that they're familiar with that route. There's probably generations of families that have taken that route to a game. So, I mean, I'm okay with them moving it across the street.
Oh, most definitely. I know they're more than comfortable with it. I know my cousin knows that route like the back of his hand. I know
Right.
Jake Podger, who's on the Nickel City Mafia, knows that route like the back of his hand. He talks about it. He's like, oh, yeah, you take this road and that road and everything. I'm like, dude, how do you know that so much? But I know there's so many fans that I've talked to just personally off air and everything that I've gotten to know. They're like, oh, yeah, you take this to here, to here, to here. This is how you get around the cops and everything. I'm like, dude, can you teach me that route? Like, can we go to a game and just like you drive, like take care of that, get me to where I need to go, and we'll go to the game and we'll enjoy it. Because I don't know the route personally. I've only been to one game and up there. I was going to go to a couple other games that we weren't able to go to, but I mean, I want to go to another one up there and enjoy it.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I'm going to move on to the second category. This is going to be a this or that category. I'm going to ask you some questions. These are going to be some personal questions. These are also going to be some questions on the Buffalo Bills. But we're going to try and go as fast as we can with this category. Okay. And I know that some of these are going to be out there, but they're not going to be anything that's going to trick you up. I promise you that. So,
all right, not good because I've been drinking. But let's go.
All righty, man. First question I'm going to ask you. This is a New Jersey question that I want to ask you. All right. If you had to fly out of one airport, you had to pick Newark or you had to pick JFK. Which one are you choosing?
Oh, Newark Airport all day.
A good one.
Newark International.
All right. I thought for sure you were going to say a different one.
Yeah, nah, man. Nah. I mean, but I was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. So, and me getting in, that's the back of my hand, kind of like we were just talking about going to the Bills game.
If you had to watch a game between the Jets and the Giants and you had to root for one team, which one are you rooting for?
The Bills.
Jets or Giants?
I can't do it. I can't do it, Brett. I mean, come on.
I had to throw that one out there. All right. Now, this is not really a this or that question, but I want to know your opinion. Okay. Which place is better, New York or New Jersey?
Oh, wow.
You had to pick one.
I know it. I know it. I'm going with Jersey, of course. Yeah, I go with Jersey.
All
I'll
right.
definitely do that. Because to be honest with you, you go to New York, it's called a New York Minute because that's all you need to get what you need from New York. Like it's you go in there, you should do it at least once in your life, but once you do it, it's a wrap. Yeah, I mean, and Jersey got better shopping. Yeah, we're good. And I think we're good.
Would you rather take the subway or the taxi in New York?
Subway safety. Yeah, I mean, I tell everybody if you want to have a near death experience, take a taxi in New York.
I feel you. I feel you. All right. If you had to go to one place in New York,
Uh-huh.
would you rather go to the Statue of Liberty or would you rather go to the Empire State Building?
Um, Empire State Building. The reason being because the Statue of Liberty, they stopped you from kind of going as high as you were able to go. Empire State Building is great, has the view. Yeah, we could do that.
That's a good answer. I like that one because I think you're exactly right on the going to the Statue of Liberty because they did stop you. You used to be able to go all the way up and everything, and now they're stopping that. But
Right.
hey,
Yeah, it takes away from it. It takes a little bit away from it.
Oh yeah. All right. If you had to drive one of these two vehicles, which one would you rather drive? A truck or a car?
I would say a truck.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Because I mean, yeah, tailgating from a car is not the same.
No, it's not. You're exactly right. All right. Now, you're from up north. I asked my dad this question. I ask every guest these two questions.
Okay.
Would you rather drink a Coke or a Pepsi?
Oh wow. I'm have to go with Pepsi. Sorry.
You're good, man. Do you say soda or pop?
Oh, I say soda. But I have relatives that say pop. Kind of depends on, where we lie.
Okay. All right. Would you rather have an open air stadium in Buffalo or a dome?
Open air. The weather is like our 14th man. Like, yeah, give me an open stadium and let's go.
Yeah, I feel you on that. All right. Would you rather have a punter on the Buffalo Bills that is right-footed or left-footed?
Oh, good one. A very good one. Whichever one makes the field goal. Eesh. You know what? No, I'm gonna go with the. Let's do left foot.
Left foot? All right.
Guess at least you'll kick it a little over,
I feel you on that. Would you rather have Devin Singletary or James Cook starting?
If we can commit to a run and do a good number of run plays, I would say Cook.
Okay.
Yeah. We need that. I mean, because I think he has a lot of potential, still has a lot of talent. He's still younger. And, I think we need to give him more reps.
All right. Which one do you think the Bills should spend more money on in free agency this offseason, offense or defense?
Offense. And I say that because of the wide receiver offensive line.
Okay. All right. Would you rather go to a Bills game in warm weather or cold weather?
Oh, cold weather. I got to experience that. Like, that's on the bucket list as well. Like, it has to be cold weather. I wish it was a snow game, where it's like that game against the Dolphins last season. Oh, I would have loved to be there at that fourth quarter when it snowed out there. That's what it's about.
All right. Now, this is the main question because this is going to be your first game that you're going to go to for a Bills game, okay?
Okay.
Now, when you go to the game, it's snowing and everything, okay? Are you taking your shirt off during the game or are you keeping it on?
I'm gonna keep it on. I'm keeping my shirt on. I'm gonna do that. Yeah. I think I would. I don't think they want to see that for public viewing.
I feel you, man. I feel you on that one. I'm gonna keep my shirt on too because I know that not a lot of people want to see what I have under here. I got the dad body, man.
Paying attention to me, but when you see it back, it's like, I could have kept it on.
I can't look like Ryan Fitzpatrick out there. I mean,
right. I was just thinking that.
He looks normal with his shirt off. I don't look normal.
Magic can do it, but not me, man.
No, I don't like being from Florida and everything. I don't have the tan line. Correct.
Oh, okay.
I have the farmer's tan. I have my arms are tanner than my stomach is and everything. I'm not in the right position. My neck, like I look like a true red neck because I have the reddest neck you could possibly imagine. So
It's kind of King of the Hill. I thought that was called the Hank Hill.
It pretty much is the Hank Hill. It is the Hank Hill. I mean, I swear I have like this horrible line where if I were to move my shirt in any direction, you could see, there's quite a bit of a difference in color. So, all right, I'm going to move on. I got 2 more questions for you on this category. All right, so you've been to Buffalo. You've eaten in Buffalo. I always ask these questions because I know the food in Buffalo is so much better than the food in New Jersey, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
So I know you got to agree with this. Have you ever had a beef on weck?
Oh, yes.
Okay, do you dunk the bun or do you not dunk the bun?
Oh, me. Yeah, I dunk it.
Okay.
I do.
All right. That's
not ashamed.
I wanted to make sure you didn't get any fire on this. Okay. So, Bill's Wings. If you had to pick somewhere to go in Buffalo to have a wing, where are you going?
Oh wow! Now that's a hard question for me because I haven't been there, and I need more research. I need more intel for me to answer that question properly.
Okay, where's your favorite spot where you're at? Where do you like to go?
Well, where I'm at is actually called a Back East Bar and Grill. It's owned by some Buffalo Bills fans, lifetime fans, and his whole focus was to kind of have a piece of Buffalo in Colorado Springs. I'm in Colorado Springs, by the way. That's where I'm at. And yeah, Back East Bar and Grill. Yeah, check it out. I mean, he has the right dressing. I mean, he has the blue cheese, and I mean, he's authentic as he could be to be in Colorado.
That's great. So I knew you were in Colorado. I forgot to mention that. So I did say that you're from New Jersey and everything, right. But I forgot that you're in Colorado watching the games.
Yes.
Now, good question I want to bring up is, do you watch the games? Is it at Becky's Bar and Grill that you watch the games at?
Yeah. So I go back there, and that's a Bills Backers bar. It's it's beautiful. It's 1 to 3 out here actually, and the atmosphere and everything is awesome. Yeah, it's cool.
That's great, man. You got to send some pictures over so that we can put it on.
I definitely do that. I could definitely do it. I can show you, Wrong Shirt Riley. She's we call her that because she's a crappy City Chief fan, and she wears that jersey, and every time she does it, I call her Wrong Shirt Riley. Yeah. She smiles when I say it and everything. She figures it's her name now. That's her name now.
That's good, man. All right, last question, and I asked this to all the guests on the show. Okay. All right. When you think of the home of something, okay, you think of in the home of the. Are you thinking the home of the Jets, or are you thinking the home of the Whopper?
Definitely not thinking the home of the Jets. I tell you that all day. I am definitely not thinking that. Home of the water.
Yeah. Home of the Whopper?
Yeah. This is Whopper for me. Nah, definitely. I don't say anything for the Jets. Yeah,
I feel you. I feel you, man. Good answer on that. All right, so we're going to move on to 2 more categories that we have. We've got one that's a really fun category that we're going to do. This is called Truth or Lie Your Ass Off. This is a category that I absolutely love. I've done it with one other person. I didn't do it with Don Brown because I wanted to make sure that I saved it for a really good candidate that I have on here, and I think you're one of the best on here.
All right.
Now, I know you don't have kids, but I got to ask you this question.
Okay.
Have you ever been in a room with your niece and you had to go in the other room, you had to do some stuff and everything, and you may have forgotten about her for more than 5 minutes? Has that ever been the case? Now, before you answer this, I want to let everybody know that's watching this. In the comments, I want you to determine if Mafia Sta is telling the truth or is he lying his ass off. So before you answer, that's what they're going to decide. Is he telling the truth or lying his ass off? So go ahead and answer.
Okay, so you're saying there's any time where I leave her for more than 5 minutes and kind of forget that she's there?
Yeah, forget that she's there. You might forget that, you might go in the other room. You might get in your own head and everything. You might get focused on something where you're doing some work.
I honestly could say that no. And it's not because of anything. The main reason is because they blast YouTube, and I hear it all the time, and it's a constant reminder, because I constantly have one ear listening to seeing what content they're listening to, because YouTube gives them all. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, I can't, because of that blaring screen. I remember that they're there.
Okay.
If they're reading the book, it might be different.
Now I'm gonna have a follow-up question. Okay.
Okay.
This is a true question to determine if you're telling the truth or lying. You're asking.
All right.
Okay. Have you ever been watching TV with your niece, and your niece ended up getting up, and she was blocking the screen, and you got so mad at her because she's watching the show that she loves, that you told her to get the heck out of the way because you wanted to watch the show that she was watching?
Never.
Now,
I've never done that.
Never done that.
No.
When you're a parent, that will happen. Okay, man. I promise you it will happen. There'll be a day where there's something that's on the screen, and you'll say, get out of my way because I want to watch that. Now, it could be the 15th time that you watch that episode of SpongeBob or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But you need to see that right then and there. So it's going to happen to you, man.
I'll take your word for it.
I'll promise you it will happen. All right, man. I got one last category for you before I let you go. And this is something that I do with everybody. I want to turn the floor over to you, open it up to you. Is there any confession that you want to get off your chest? Anything that you want to say? This might be something that people don't know about you. Anything that you want to say that has happened in your life? You could confess to something that happened, or you could, there could be something personal that you want to talk about. I'm going to turn the floor over to you. You can talk about whatever you want. This is your opportunity, man.
Okay. Well, okay. All right. On a personal level, I have recently, after the death of my mom and my younger brother, have been diagnosed with anxiety, which sometimes can lead to panic attacks. Never have experienced that, prior. And to be honest with you, man, it was the first time that I knew that anxiety can affect you physically. It made me feel, well, at least gave me a different perspective, I would say. The reason why Chill Still Bills exist is because it's about inclusion. When we watch a Bills game and we're having the lead and we're seeing that lead slowly slip away because of mistakes and things that we know that we can correct. Every Mafia fan feels anxiety, feels something.
Right.
And I thought, what if that feeling, imagine you have that feeling every time your friend asks you to come to a bar and watch a Bills game, or anytime you have to be in a public setting. So inclusion became one of the main driving forces for what I'm trying to do. That's my initiative. And it all stemmed from me having that experience with anxiety myself. A lot of people don't know that about me, that may know me, prior to this, or know the real me from, life experience. And I was very social, loved to be social, loved to go out, loved to see new things. And it boggles my mind to think how it would be if I felt I couldn't do that. So that's that was I thank you for letting me share that.
Dude, that's a great story, because there's so many people in this world that have anxiety. Personally, I do too. I have anxiety. I've never been diagnosed with anxiety, but I know I have it. And I'll bring up a good story to you because I know you'd love to hear it. Is about a year ago, I was in Daytona for the Daytona 500, and I won't go into the exact details of what happened. I believe I've already told you this story about it, but I ended up at the Daytona 500, and an incident happened where I ended up before the race passing out. I went to guest services. I passed out, and I ended up having to be rushed to the hospital, and I was rushed to the hospital, and I ended up waking up about 6 or 7 hours later. And when this happened, I'm by myself, and my phone ended up dying. So nobody could get a hold of me. So When I woke up, I'm freaking out because I don't know where my friend was that I was with, and he had to come find me. So luckily, we had my location. They were able to finally find me, but it took a long time. But from that day and ever since, I've had anxiety like you would not believe. And I
Wow.
have panic attacks about that potentially happening again.
Mm.
So I love that you shared your story because there's so many stories like this that happen. And I want to open it up to everybody out there, and hopefully you'll do the same. If
Oh
there's
yeah.
ever a situation where you're having anxiety, don't feel afraid to reach out to the Go Bills podcast. Send me a DM on Instagram. Send me a message on Facebook. Send me a message on Twitter, wherever the case may be. More than welcome to send me a message and we'll talk about it. I want to talk to you because anxiety happens with almost every single person out there. And
Yeah.
I feel like if there's somebody that you can go and talk to, that's the best thing to do. So
Right.
I hope you do the same. I really do. So
Yeah. I was about to say I second that. Chill Still Bills is all about that. We have, however you want to get in touch with us. We have Instagram with Chill Still Bills. Even if you send me something on YouTube, however you would feel comfortable doing that. We even have a Gmail or our YouTube account shows all of our ways to contact us. Yeah, reach out because a lot of times it's not that someone is going to give you advice as to cure it, but
exactly.
sometimes it works just knowing you're not by
Sometimes
yourself.
it's just having somebody there and having
Right.
that
If it,
compassion.
knowing you're not by yourself is awesome.
Exactly.
Even when I lost my mom, I had a lot of, relatives and friends reach out, and some were very honest and candid in saying that they didn't know what to say. And I responded to them the same way. It would have went a long way for me to know I wasn't going through it totally by myself.
I
Just the knowledge of support sometimes can go a long way.
completely agree with you, man. I think that's a great way to wrap everything up. Mafia Sta, thank you so much for being on the
Oh
podcast. I
man, thanks for
appreciate you,
having
man.
me, man.
You're
Anytime, Brad. You know how I get down. Just give
oh
me a
man.
ring. I love coming out here and speaking with you, and this is a great thing. I mean, I really want to applaud you for being, open minded enough to even entertain the metaverse idea. You were like one of the first places that were willing to work with us, and I think the imagery and the message that you give out, that positivity, I think goes a long way, man.
I
So
completely
I
agree.
applaud you, and I look forward to more to come. Dave, let's get on these road trips, man. I mean, let's do this like on location. Be at
Let's
a
do it,
Bills
man.
game. So,
Dude,
let's
we
put
got
that
to
in.
do that. That's the next step that I'm trying to do is one day I want to go to a lot and do a live show and
Oh,
have all the
nice.
guests that we've had over the years, between Nickel City Mafia and Red, White, and Bills, yourself, and some of the fans that I have, some of the first subscribers. I want to take
Yeah.
everybody. We'll go to a game. We'll enjoy the game, have a blast, make it a fun time. So we got to make that happen.
Oh yeah.
Before I let
Oh
you
yeah.
go, man, I want to have everybody know where can we find you, man. Tell
Oh,
everybody
okay.
all the places we can find you.
Yeah, Chill Still Bills. That's ChillSyllBills, and you can see us on YouTube. You can see us on Instagram. We do still have a chillsill.com. Right now, we're still in the works with the website, but that's going to be a place where we have forums where anyone that follows us or maybe watch any of the videos with content we put out or the content we have with Go Bills podcast, and you can definitely reach out and either give us support or even give us criticism. Maybe give us some ideas of what you want to see. And so yeah, that's where we are right now, man.
That's great, man. I absolutely love that. Just going to say the same thing. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on social media. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, as well as on our website, gobillspodcast.com. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and also don't forget to put comments in here because that's the way that we get to build our channel. That's the way that we get to give you the content that you want, and we get to see what type of material that you want to see on this channel. So if you
Right.
want to see more of Mafia Sta, or you want to see more of me not talking as much necessarily, because I talk a lot. So if that's the case that you want to see, let me know. This has been the Go Bills podcast, and we will see you next time for another edition of the Sunday Sit Down with another special guest next week. As always, Go Bills. And before we leave, we're
Go
going to
Bills.
give you a great outro video that's going to come on. So I'm going to take it out of here, and we're going to go right to that real quick.